Hi everybody, John Etheridge here again for a Tuesday afternoon. Nice and sunny outside, a little bit blustery, but yeah, it's nice, very nice. Now, if you remember last time I did a sky, and I said that this time I'd teach you how to do the lighthouse in a very simple way, and I'm going to do that. Now the thing is, I did a workshop yesterday, and it was a Conte crayon workshop, and I didn't actually want to take this lighthouse off the board, so I left it on there and put the paper for the Conte crayons over the top of it, and I've got a little bit of colour Conte crayon onto the picture. Now I actually thought that would be a great time to show you how to rectify that kind of mistake. If you've got colour on there that you don't want on there, dust on there that you don't want on there, maybe for an example in this case, maybe you've coloured the red of the lighthouse in, which you will, and you will probably get some of that red of the lighthouse into the sky, and you will have to clean that out. And it is quite easy, so I'm going to show you how to do that. You'll see how dirty the picture is in a minute. It's quite easily rectified, and then I'll get on with the lighthouse and we'll see how we go. I might do the houses as well, and then on from that maybe we'll go to the brick wall and the trees that are there, and then start building up from there. So eventually, hopefully, you'll see a whole and completed picture. Quite a simple picture, but it has its disadvantages in some way, one being the red in the sky. So without any further ado, I'm going to get on with that. Right, so hopefully you can see on the camera, you'll see here there's lots of orangey browny dust all around here, and that's where it dropped off of the paper that I was using for the Conte crayon workshop. Now there's also discolouring here, there's a bit of a smudge going on here. I actually got a little bit of oil in here, but I've covered that up before we came on the screen. So, you know, there's times when your picture is going to get damaged or mistreated in some way for whatever reason. Obviously we all try to avoid it, but it happens. This is just where I've been testing out a couple of reds that I was going to use for the lighthouse. Anyway, the first thing you need to do is to go up to it and blow it off. There are tools that you can use to blow this off, but I just use my own wind. The only thing is, if you were using Sonilier a la carte board, you need to be careful not to get a little bit of spittle onto the picture. Because what that will do, if you decide that you're going to try and rub that off, what it will do is it will cause a little circular dot, and it will take all the tooth of the paper off and take you back down to the white card, and you can't fill that in with pastel because obviously it's smooth underneath. With pastel mat it's not quite a big deal because you can blow on this, you can get it wet anyway. But in both cases, the one thing you do need to do is to just let it sit, let it dry, and then possibly you'll just smooth over the pastel that you've got, or you'll add a little bit of pastel to it and then smooth that over. So I'm going to give this a blow, and then I'm going to show you what I'm going to do to just clean this up. Okay, so that's all you need. You'll probably see loads of dust fly off. Right, so in this case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just try and dislodge some of this powder by just slightly brushing it. It's dislodging some of the pastel as well, but it will get rid of what I don't want up here. Alright, you won't get rid of it all, and some of it will mix in with the sky, but there'll be so little of it, it's not going to make any difference. So just dislodge some of that pastel, dislodge the red that you've got in there that you didn't want in there, or whatever colour it might be, black, red, whatever. Just dislodge that, and again give it a blow. Okay, now from there really all you need to do is to redo the sky. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go right up to the lighthouse. I'm going to cover this all in again, refreshing it, cleaning it up, very quickly. Now, on this particular picture, obviously because I'm on screen and I don't want to sit here for hours boring you, I'm going to redo some of it off screen, just to make it look even smarter. But this is, I'm going to give you all the basics here, and you'll know exactly what to do, and I probably won't do too much off screen, so just do all that, smooth it all in. Right, now here, I don't know if you can see it, but I actually got some sort of oil on there. Now what that was I was trying to find this brush, and I picked up one almost identical to it, and somewhere along the line it's had this oily stuff on it. I started to give it a bit of this dabbing, and it put a little bit of oil on there. Well, that's fine, especially on if it was on a la carte, let it dry, but on here it's actually quicker, and you can just add in a bit of colour over the top and blend it down. Alright, if you've got enough pastel on there, it's acting a bit like powder, if you like, and it's just drying it up. So, and at the same time, what I'm also doing is kind of, thankfully, reinforcing the blues of the sky. So just get that in there, and you blend it to where you want it to be, and then from there it's a case of just redoing the clouds wherever you want to be, whether there's highlights here, whether there's highlights at the top, and yeah, it's done. So just putting in some clouds, putting in the tops of the clouds, reinforcing highlights, reinforcing detail, and that's it. Pretty much done. Cleaned up. Easy as that. Simple, easy peasy stuff. Alright? Anybody and everybody can do it. Let's be honest, if I can do it, so can you. Alright, there we go. Right, in fact, the sky's probably looking a bit better now, so... Right, we're going to get on with the Lighthouse. Hopefully what you're deriving from my couple of videos is that lots of artists make this all look very polished and finished, and they don't show you the struggles that they go through, the struggles that you're going to have. And hopefully this helps, so I can you know, show you how to get out of these struggles and rectify your pictures. Now with the Lighthouse, this is actually quite small. I mean, look at my hand, so you can see how small it is. This is quite a small picture, I suppose, I don't know, 9 by 8, something like that. Now, because it's such a small picture, again, you need to break off your pastels. If you have any little bits of broken off pastel in your box, use them, right? And again, it's a case of drawing in the edges that give you something to work to. Okay, and for me, blocking that in. Now you notice on that top bit I went straight over the sky colour, because that's fine. Now from there, this part is white. Again, draw the edges, and you'll see that you're going over the edge of the sky, so it's not a problem. We need to get all this, because it's a lighthouse, obviously as straight as we can. Now, in between that part and that part, there's this umber part, which is the bottom of the top of the lighthouse, the turret or whatever you call it. Right, so I just come along here, trying as best I can not to mix the red with the white. Okay. So there we go. And you can use a white pencil for these. So if I just find a white pencil, literally all I'm really doing is using the pencil kind of like a blending tool, really, rather than actual pastel coming off. So draw that around there. Okay. Yeah, so you get that in there. A little bit of red gone into it, but that's not a problem. You'll notice that there's a little bit of white gone over there. Again, just rectify it with your pastel, if this is the sort of detail you're looking for. So just rectify that. And blend it gently. Okay. Right, I'm just going to get a number. Okay, so now these are actually really chunky pastels to be doing this with. Now you can do these top bits, you can do that in a pastel pencil if you want, that's not a problem. You know, as long as you get the result you want. But I'm just showing you how to do it in soft pastel. So there's a piece of umber around there, that needs lightening up slightly. And you use your blender to do that with. Just blend the white into the umber, just to make it a little bit lighter. And you use your blender to actually shape things as well. Okay, so there's that. There's the white of the, where the light comes out of. Now this is just blocking in at the moment, so I'm not looking for the finished detail as such. Right, again, for the top of the lighthouse here, there's this umber piece again. It's just where the floors are built. So come round there, making sure you get the curve right. It's quite a dark umber, there probably is a lighter umber in the box, but it's just as easy to do this and just as quick. So just again, use your blender to get the effect you want and the shape you want. Okay. Now from there you start blocking in these turrets. Now you use the sharp edge of your pastel and you go down the edge. Now there's a red one, a white one, and I've done that wrong. It should be white, red, red. Should it? No, it shouldn't. I've done it right. Red, white, and the bottom red is there. Got myself a bit of a muddle then, didn't I? So there we go, and then the last one's there. So that's red. Again, use the pencil lines that are in there to your advantage. I'm leaning on my picture of the sky at the moment. It doesn't matter to me because I can rectify it, but you could use a marl stick to do this with. So then again, block this part in. And if you can hear the children next door playing, having a good time by the sound of it, that's Izzy, lovely little girl she is. She's a very brave little girl as well. She has a trampoline in her garden, and she jumped out of her bedroom window onto the trampoline one day when nobody was there, or nobody was keeping an eye on her. And she's only, I think she's 8. She's a right card. Okay, and this one's red as well. Right, see the basics already. What you must do, and this is more about the lighthouse than the pastels, is you must make sure that you get the proper curve in of the red and the white, because if you don't, it's just going to look too straight. So I've actually come up a bit too far with the red, so another mistake, and this is because I'm using chunky old pastels. Just brush that off to where you want it. Get as much red off of there as you can, and then go in with the white. You'll notice that this is going through an ugly stage, and it will. All pictures go through this ugly stage, and if I had £1 for every time I had to coax somebody through an ugly stage of a painting, well, we'd be a millionaire. But just keep going. If you know that you can rectify what's in front of you if it needs it, and you know that what you're getting is pretty much what you should be expecting, then it's not a problem, is it? You just put it right, or it comes right in the end. One of the two. Right, now that's roughly blocked in. What I'm doing for the first time now is, I mean, this looks a bit higgledy-piggledy, a bit bent and everything, and that's just because I've blocked some colour in. For the first time, I'm now looking to try and just refine and worry about where the lights are coming. Now, I use this Pinot Noir pencil for this bit, and I redraw over the pastel. Okay, now that's straightened the edge up, but you can see there's bits here. Now we're going to clean that up, that's not a problem, and just over the side where the light isn't quite so much, I just skim over the top. Okay, I'm just using my pencil to straighten everything up. Okay, now there's a piece here that I've actually missed that needs to be red. So I should put that in a second. And then I'll just draw in the detail of this. This is very fiddly. I'm going to deny it. I'm going to put in the top turret bit, cutting off some of that umber where I want it. I suppose you could use a pastel pencil for this, and sometimes I do. The only reason I'm using this Pinot Noir is because it's actually softer than a pastel pencil and a lot easier to use. Okay, so get that all in there. All this black won't be this black, we'll blend it in. Alright. Probably put some purples and blues in with that, just to give it a shadowy colour. Right, okay, so I'm just going to draw in some more of the detail. There's the bottom of the first part of the turret, and just above that is like this recessed part of the lighthouse. That will actually come out beyond this, okay? So there's the next part. Don't worry about where your colour is, just draw where you know the detail is, and then you can put it all right afterwards. There's another one of them recessed parts. Well, it's not recessed, actually it's jutting out, so it comes over here. Okay, there's another part. And there's another part. Now you'll see here that I've gone a bit too straight there, so I just make the curve with the pencil, kind of cuts the black and makes it what I want it to be. Now here there's just another one of them jutting out parts. And over there. Right. I'm going to just draw in this black part here. This is where the light shines from. Now, on this part here, you could quite easily confuse yourself, because this is round and it goes round here, and the inside of this wall will end up probably about here. Okay, and you block that in black. And put some blue over it later. As long as it's dark, that's what it needs to be, dark. I just use the black as the base. Right, now through this part here, it's probably a little bit slimmer than that actually, that's all window, and you'll see the sky. So, that said, you need to take notice of what's behind the sky here, and have that coming through that window. So I'm getting rid of a little bit of pastel, and I'm just drawing in blue so there's a base to the sky through the window. I'm going to just gently blend that in. I could do that with a rubber blender if I had one here. I'd prefer to do it with that, but we'll use this for the moment. Just showing you the basics, and then I'll tidy it all up off screen if I need to. Right, okay, so you can see that there's this cloud coming through here, and that's going to shine through the window. Okay. Use my Pastel pencil to blend that a bit. Whatever you need to use, you use it. It doesn't matter. You don't have to be a purist. Why do you need to be a purist? You just want your picture to look right. Nobody will know how you've done it. Right, so you can now see through that window. Let's just block this in a bit darker. And you can use a soft pastel to do this. It's just easier with this pencil. Okay. Now at some point, when I get into the really detailed parts, I'm going to be putting a crisscross pattern over here. Now over here it will be dark, but over here it will be light, and it will be darker again over there. Right. So, what I'm going to do now, I've just put this bottom bit in again. All this will lighten up because I'm going to go over it with pastel soon. I need to clean up this edge. Easily done. Alright, you can brush it off if you want. It's not necessary all the time, so I'm just going alongside with my blue pastel. Wherever I think that it needs straightening up. Not forgetting that these little parts jut out. Okay, and then I pull outwards to soften that in. Okay, and look how straight we're getting that edge now. Okay, this is how you can be a bit more detailed in pastel if that's what you want. That's what I do, so it's what I want. Okay, and then from there you then draw the clouds back in. Right. Now before I do that, actually, I'm going to just put in some shadow along this side. Okay, now I can either use that Pure Noir pencil, or I can just put in a little bit of pastel here. Alright, not too much, you don't want too much. I'm putting black on the red because it doesn't need to be detailed. This is just me adding a little bit of colour. And then I'm going to put, for the moment, I'm just going to put a little bit of this blue on here, just because it's giving me a guide of where the shadows are. That will have to be darkened up slightly. Alright, so from there, I'm just going to blend that across, like that. Just giving me the idea for the way forward. That's all it is at the moment. It's giving me all the tones I need. Not pressing hard at all. Okay. Right, hopefully that will look a little bit shadowy on this side. Light's coming from there, obviously. You can just soften all that in if you want. Bring the red into the black and the black into the red, finishing off with the red into the black. Just gives it a nice graduation. Right, blow that off. And you need to do that up here as well, but I'm going to do that with a Pinot Noir pencil because there's not much of that will catch the light. Just a tiny little bit. The black on this side, we're going to have to get rid of that at some point. That's just there for a guide. I don't actually have something that comes up here, but I'll have to draw that in later. Okay, now it is getting a bit drab, but then that's what I expect, because I'm going to have to keep working at it. Alright, so that's not a problem. Right, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do exactly the same with this blue, because that's the shadow for the white. I need a little bit more blue in there, just to make it look right. This blue is going to be a slightly different colour to this. But I'm just doing it for the moment just to show you the way forward. Right, so use the blue, blend it round with your blending stamp. That'll give you the shadow side of the white. Blend the white into the blue line. Okay. All of this will be cleaned up because you'll be getting extra pastel in there that you don't want. But it'll all be cleaned up at the end. Okay, now I'm just going to edge this down with this Pinot Noir pencil. I'm going to draw a little bit of detail. So the shadows will come round here. There's quite a dark shadow there because there's another part of the floors. And there's another shadow here because there's another part of the brickwork. Okay. And then this shadow underneath here will be quite intense. So it's underneath that part that juts out. You just need to bring that slightly out. And the same here. Just put that in lightly because underneath a white is going to be more of a grey than a dark colour. Okay. This is where the red and the white meet, so we need to get that red right up to there. Because we don't want a dark line in there, because there's no reason for a dark line. We'll just add and remove wherever you need it. I should get that a little bit better than that off screen when I can just mess about, because that'll take a little while. Just using my pastel pencil, just kind of as a blender at the moment. No pastel coming off it, I'm just using it as a blender, and if there is any pastel come off it, well, at least it'll be white. Okay. It's quite a detailed part, this. Over this side, obviously, it's going to be a lot lighter. And this is where your blenders and your pencils really come into their own. You just keep manipulating things. Why did I do that? Put a little bit of red in there. Silly boy. So, like I said, we all make mistakes. Let's cover it over. Spread it about like paint. This will get there. So we're going to mess at the moment. I know that. Don't worry about it. You'll get there. Negatively draw into that dark. Add a little bit of colour. Make sure your blend is clean. If your fingers are small enough and you're confident enough to do it, you're probably better off blending with your fingers. It'll keep it cleaner. There's a lot of detail and work got to go into this yet. Okay, right, I'm just going to darken up, like I said before, this dark side. Thin line there, up to that bit. Carry on the line down there. There's a funny shadow here, kind of goes like that because it's under that ledge, and that's the same here, but it obviously has to be a different colour. But I'll just lightly put it in now, very lightly, because I'll just help. It'll be the same here, that shadow will be that funny shape like that. Okay, and you have to make sure that these shadows all correspond all the way down, because if they don't, it's going to look higgledy-piggledy. Right, okay, from there I'm just going to, again, just gently blend. Pulling the greys into the white, pulling the black into the red, just to soften it off a bit. What I will do after that is I will go into that with red, just to clean up the areas that I want cleaned up. Okay, I'm just going to reinforce this umber at the top. I say this is quite difficult with chunky pastels. And I'm just going to get the white, add in a little bit of white to that because that's a little bit lighter than the colour I've chosen. And the lightest part being there, obviously. And then just use my blender to manipulate the colours to where I want them. Dark on this side, light on that side. Now all these colours over time will all be refined. You keep adding and subtracting, refining the details, and you will get to what you want. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some light in on the light side. Now what this will do is it will draw over all the black lines, because like I said, they were there just as a guide. So pull them to the middle, draw down the edge, pull to the middle, draw down the edge, pull to the middle. Don't worry about going outside your lines, because like I said, you can tidy that all up. And then maybe just put a little bit more red in with that towards the middle, to show hopefully that there's a bit of a shine going on. Alright, all very messy, but it gets there. And again, use the white to edge it. Use a nice sharp part of your pastel. If you can't find one, break it. Oh. You'll find that your pastels will be mixing, especially in the white. Actually helps, gives it a sense of realism, because let's be honest, this isn't going to be bright white. It's going to be a bit jaded from years of weathering. Just lighten up that side. Correspond with the brightness that's down here. Okay. I really ought to have my rubber colour shapers here because they're a lot better for this. So at some point I'm going to switch to that. There we go. Called manipulating colour, a bit like manipulating paint or clay. Keep that round. Right, I'm getting somewhere. Long way off finished yet though. But I hope you're getting the idea. Keep adding, keep manipulating. Now where you have these bits that jut out, though, what do they call them? Rims, that's it. They will have a different colour and they will need to look as if they're going around there, so you need to top them rims off like this. And you will need to put a highlight into them like that. Okay, and it'll hopefully give you some idea that everything's round, and you can just use your blender to manipulate the colour round. Go right up to that black, blend that in. Right, what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to leave that there for the moment, and I'm going to come back with my colour shapers because I just think they're going to be a bit better than what I'm doing at the moment. So I can get a lot more detail and I can blend a bit better without taking the pastel off. Okay, so I'm just basically tidying up. Then I'm going to come back. I can use that to just draw that little ridge out there, look. Alright. And then, like I said, from there, this is where it all comes together a bit more. It's not finished, not by any degree, but if you just draw your clouds in against the darkness of the turret. Alright, you can use your pastel to clean that edge up. Draw your clouds in. I call it a bit of a cheat, if I'm being honest. But is it cheating? Just using everything to your advantage, isn't it? Okay. Make sure that when you're doing this and you're blending, to pull away from the lighthouse, not into it. And trying not to get